Hey everybody, it's GombletX, and it is time for Arena Direct season again. This is the very competitive series of Magic Arena events where you are able to win some physical Magic the Gathering cards by playing digital Magic on Arena. This time around, we're going to be playing Best of One sealed of Avatar, The Last Airbender. That's when we open 6 packs, build a deck out of only those cards, and compete against a bunch of other players who have done the same thing. These Arena Direct events are very high risk, but very high reward. It is 8,000 gems to enter. That is $40 worth of gems if you are buying the best possible dollars to gems ratio. So very expensive event to attempt. But if you manage to get 6 wins before only 2 losses, then you get to leave with at least one play booster box of Avatar The Last Airbender. And if you get 7 wins, you get 2 play booster boxes of Avatar The Last Airbender. So very fun event, but very, very high risk. Absolutely not for everybody. These are super, super expensive events, and the estimated value is not the greatest because you're out after only 2 losses. You only get a single loss of breathing room here. Also high variance by just being sealed in general. You're always at the mercy of whatever you open. You might run up against some really, really strong rares and just not have much say in how that game goes. But all those disclaimers out of the way, I still do enjoy these events quite a bit. This is basically the only way I ever get physical Magic the Gathering cards anymore because I exclusively play on Arena. So I like getting on here, turning some of my gems into some physical cards so I have some stuff to play with friends. And I'm excited to hop back into this. So without further ado, let's see if we can't win a box or two. Bust open these packs, see what we get to play with today. All right, that is a lot of rares, which is a good sign right up front. There are a few really strong rares as well. It might depend on what our commons and uncommons look like, though, because our rares are kind of all over the place in terms of the colors. I do really like these green rares. Boomy Unleashed is a 5/4 trample and turns one of your lands into a 4/4. That's already an insane amount of stats for the cost, but Boomy can also untap all your lands and get them to attack again in the second main phase. There's also the Earthbender Ascension, which is a great way to ramp and fix your mana while earthbending a little bit, so that could help us play 3 colors to play a majority of these rares if we're playing a green deck at least. But then we start looking at the other colors. We see Azula here for a blue-black deck. Very, very strong card, being able to cast stuff from your opponent's board against them, which is incredibly rude. There's also Ty Lee that's going to stun some stuff, slow your opponent down. Obsessive Pursuit's a big card draw engine that could gain you some life in the late game to make up for the early game life loss. The Mechanist can spit out a bunch of clues and attack your opponent in the sky with them. Really, really solid blue and black rares as well, and there's 4 all just in those colors, which is cool. But then we also have 2 Abandoned Air Temples, which means if we're playing white, then 2 of our lands are going to be late game mana sinks. If we're ever out of stuff to do, we can just keep buffing our board over and over, and you can get into some board stalls in sealed where you're both staring at each other with a bunch of creatures on board. If you're in that position, Air Temple is going to win you the game, and there's a Hakoda there too, which is a good rare. So really, the rares are kind of all over the place, and it's going to depend what we see in terms of our commons and uncommons, because we have powerful rares in basically any direction. I'm going to check out our colorless and our multicolored now to see what kind of mana fixing we have access to. We've got Aang's Journey, as well as Barrels of Blasting Jelly, and a Bender's Water Skin. So we could play some pretty mediocre mana fixing just to make sure that we can play as many of our really powerful rares as possible. That's definitely a possibility. We've also got a Foggy Bottom Swamp, an Airship Engine Room, and a Serpent's Pass. So we've got some dual lands as well. We also get to look at our multicolored cards, because some of these can be almost as strong as rares and get us really pushing in a specific direction. We've got a bunch of decent stuff, it looks like, but nothing insane. I like Hama a lot. I like Suki a lot. Double Messenger Hawk's pretty sweet as well, in blue or black, but those are hybrid cards, so they're even easier to put in our deck than multicolored cards. Put them in a blue or a black deck. All right, and then these white ones are not that good. All right, let's check out all our colors individually now. See if we can rank them and see what looks best. We've got a lot of allies out of white. In fact, everything except our boar is an ally here. So our Hakoda looks pretty sweet for the white deck. We've got a couple removal spells too, a Path to Redemption and a Sandbender Storm. So white looks like a very reasonable color. A couple of these creatures are also good card draw engines, the Water Tribe Rallier and the Master Piondao. Blue now. Accumulate Wisdom's a sweet one if we have enough lessons. Kind of hard to control in sealed, so we don't get to draft our lessons or anything like that. Blue looks pretty decent as well. I mean, double Watery Grasp is pretty good. Most of these little enchantment-based blue removal spells aren't the most impressive, but this one you can Waterbend and just fully shuffle their card away pretty easily. Waterbending allowing you, of course, to tap all of your creatures and artifacts instead of just your lands, so it's pretty easy to Waterbend 5 relatively early in the game. Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty decent. Again, we've got the double rare at 3 mana that's really nice. Want to have a high non-creature count for that. I do like the blue, but just the kind of player I am, I think I prefer the white a little bit, because I'm usually a very aggressive, very creature-heavy player. Sadly, not a lot of black. Sadly, not a lot of black, but it is important, and I forgot to do this because I haven't played Avatar in a while. It's important to look at your hybrid mana cards as well, because those are also playable in those colors. So when you look at it this way, there's a fine amount of black spells. Some of them are pretty mid, though, like Heibai without great stuff to sacrifice. Vindictive Wardens. The Wasp Colony. I'm not in love with the black. I really like the black rare. I love the Azula. But the rest of the black is not super good. I like the Sold Outs, the Messenger Hawks. We got a lot of awkward creatures here at the higher mana values. Check out our red now. Okay, that's it for the hybrid cards. Fire Nation attacks. We got Boomy Bash for removal. Lightning Strike for removal is really nice. Bunch of mid creatures again. Not super pumped about the red. I like a couple of the spells, but not a ton going on there. Last but hopefully not least, if our green is good, I'll be very happy because we've got great fixing there. And a couple great rares. We have Audience, Captives. Ostrich Horse is decent. Suki's great. We got a Rocky Rebuke, so we've got a removal spell. Got an Earthbender Ascension. We do have some really awkward borderline unplayable cards like Kyoshi Island Plaza. If it's the only shrine we have, it's 4 mana to get 1 land out. Pretty bad. Earthbending Lesson, 4 mana, 4/4, no abilities. Not even so. You kind of have to pay 5 mana. Or else it comes into play tapped because you're spending 4 and then targeting one of the lands you tapped to cast it. So that's awkward too. But the Boomy's really strong, and we get fixing off of Earthbender Ascension, so maybe like green, red, blue, green, red, white, something like that. Or green, blue, red, or green, white, red. Obviously, red would just be a splash. That could be something. Looking at the colorless again. Yeah, not a ton there either. Okay. Were a lot of our green creatures allies? Captives is an ally. Sentries is an ally. Vinebender's an ally. The Earthen Ally is an ally. Okay. So we have some allies going on there as well if we want to do green-white. Could get super greedy and try to cast like a Zula off of energy bending or something. That's really difficult though. Feel like green-white is going to make more sense than green-blue. Obviously splash red. Dang, we don't have any dual lands for green, white, red. None of our duals line up in these colors. That's a little bit awkward. Playing Avatar Enthusiasts. What does this look like to me? Looks fine. Looks fine. Not super exciting. I do like our blue. Do I want to see what blue looks like instead of white here? I mean, the only fixing I get out of green is the Earthbender Ascension, but if I'm not playing green, I'm also not playing Boomy. So it's like we could play like blue-white here, I guess. And then we still have Water Skin, Journey, and Barrels to splash something in, but then we're not splashing in Boomy because that's 2 colors off color at that point. And we can't really splash in a double black card like Azula. Is there a world where we can be like blue-black splash whites so that I can fit all the blue, black, and white rares in? Because I really feel like outside of the rares, green's pretty mid, and white does have a couple mid creatures as well. Wow, there's really not a great world for black here. The Messenger Hawks are black. We've got a duel. We've got a Hama. But we're not going to play a lot of black spells because most of these are not the greatest. So trying to hit double black is still going to be a struggle, but a struggle that could be worth it for a card as powerful as Azula. But we just really don't have a plethora of good black spells. Play the Pursuit too. Probably Finder on the Inspectors too. I mean, they die into a clue token, so they give us an early creature and then card draw when we don't need them anymore. Don't know if I have the creature count for Azula Always Lies, though, but it is another lesson for Accumulate Wisdom. I feel like this is probably never having 3 or more lessons engraved, but it's still a reasonable draw spell. 1 card out of the top 3. What are we splashing here? We have room for 6 more cards. I feel like I do like this better. Like, I think our blue is really good. Splash in some air temples. Dakota and white removal, I guess. Storm and Path. What is the ally count without Hakoda? 4? Hakoda might not even be that good. Off the splash here. What if I just go off the deep end and play 5 color this first time and just throw... Could play Shrines if I did that too. But I've got Barrels, I got Aang's Journey, Water Skin, Earthbender Ascension. Then I get to play the Earthen Ally, trying to do the 5 color thing. And we get to play the Boomy. Play all our duels. I feel like there's so much power loaded up in blue alone. It's not really necessary. It is going to make the deck really inconsistent, but spicy for sure. Our non-creature, non-land count. 7? Splash red and play around with a Dragonfly Swarm? Could play a little more removal with that if I throw Lightning Strike into. I'm already kind of like running out of good blue and black spells to where I want to splash something anyway. It might be better to splash Dragonfly Swarm than Hakoda, honestly. Probably not, actually, now that I think of it, because if I splash Hakoda, then I also get the lands. I get the air temples, which is a big deal. Yeah, we probably just splash Hakoda here. There's a lot of different ways to build this sealed pool, as usual. I really, really, really like the blue-black. I think the blue cards, in general, even the non-rare blue cards, the card quality is just really, really high in that color. The other way to maybe build it here is going blue, green, red instead of blue, black, whites. Get a Boomy in here instead of an Azula, but they're both tremendously powerful. This deck looks pretty great to me. I think I'm going to lock in on this one. Double check our colors. 13 blue, 8 black, and 3 whites. We're on 8 blue sources, 6 black sources, 4 white sources. We've got multiple of any color in here too. To play the water skin as well. Doesn't feel quite necessary. What if I drop a water Tribralia for like the water skin here? It's a thing I could do. Or I could drop water Tribralia for just higher mana value removal. That way I don't ever need the white that early, and I'm okay to just run 3 white sources. So we're on 8-6. I do need double black, but I think I'm cool with 9-6. Really having blue, because blue is an incredibly important color. Yeah. All right, we will call it a deck here, hop into the gameplay, and see how far this one can take us. All right, here we are on the play for game number 1. Definitely keep this hand. It's obviously risky, but if we draw any land by our 4th turn, we're doing pretty good. Tylee slows things down to start. And then Teo can take over with the card draw. Compassionate Healer starts things off from our green-white opponent. There's Toph the Blind Bandit. 2 2-power creatures. Just boom. Yep. This is very threatening very early. All right. We are really bad at flipping coins today. That is 3 for 3 on missed land draws. In a position here where we just needed to draw any land. There is 1 dual land in the deck, so I guess anything but the dual land would have made sure that we're still casting spells every turn of this game, because the Teo gives us the draw and discard to find the other colors and find more lands. Or the waterbending lesson as well. I mean, a draw 3 up front would help a lot. These draws are really not what we're looking for. We'll drop a Messenger Hawk, and I guess we send in Tylee. Probably should have sent in Tylee last turn as well. Because, yeah, I could, like, block and trade with a 2-2, but then they get a 2-3 back, so I might as well just keep Tylee on the board. She's stopping just as much damage as if she traded off and died here. This is obviously a really stressful position. A really not advantageous position here. But the plus side is if we do manage to survive, then we will have a lot more action than our opponent because we have so many spells in our hand if we're not drawing lands. Kill the Tylee. That's very bad for me. Go to 10. Oh, Toefl on tap now. Another white source before anything else. Just need the best blockers I can get. Come on out, Hakoda. You're pretty beefy. Drawing a barrels next turn for fixing. That'll give us the black mana for the sold out. But we won't have the mana to cast it because we've only drawn 1 land this game. There's the Toph that brings back. Yikes. The Toph that brings back a removal spell. Pretty bad. So post-combat, they're going to play a land and blow up Hakoda, but I'm at 10 life, so don't have a huge choice here. I mean, I could go to 6, and then they can't blow up Hakoda, but I'm at 6. Next turn, I draw barrels. I can't use the barrels. I play a 1-4 against all these creatures, and they still have good attacks. I'm still not blocking. Wow, this is super bad. Kill creatures while we can. Hakoda's not that valuable to us. We don't have much allies. Oh yeah, they didn't even need to play a land because they have the Earthbended card. And there's no reason for the indestructible here. Play a Teo. Block, block. One of these is a chump. We're at 4 now. And an Avatar Destiny in there. Okay. Go to 4. I am dead. Finally drew a land too late. Because it's like, now I can deal with 1 card. Block another, take 4. And obviously taking 4 means I'm dead. There's no way I survive here unless they, for some reason, choose not to attack with everybody. Let's see. Never concede in an arena direct. Alright, we're dead. Rough game, because they were looking like they're almost out of cards there, so if we just hit the lands slightly sooner... I feel like if this was a turn that I could sell out the Toph, block there, go to 2, I would still have a pretty solid chance, because then I've got 2 more removal spells still. I've got Azula coming up as soon as I draw a swamp. If we get the Azula down, I think we probably flip it, but we missed a lot of lands there and can't really control that. That's going to be 0-1 heading into game number 2. Yeah, I double checked the deck list. We literally drew all 3 white sources in the entire deck as well. Just a really unfortunate statistical anomaly to start us off. About as unlucky as we can get. But you know what that means? We start off 0-1. That means we just get to go for a 7-0 undefeated run all the way into the booster boxes here. We just got to rally back. It'll be fine. No black source yet again, but we know that we can cast Messenger Hawk and the Mechanist this time around, no matter what we draw. There's the Aang's Journey for the black source. Compassionate Healer starts our opponent off. We are on the draw again here, which does make the aggressive starts even more deadly. Well, we gain 2 off the journey, go back down the 2, go to 20. They kept a 2-lander of Plains. Hopefully they get punished as well. I'm going to start with Messenger Hawk, so if they have cheap removal, doesn't roll out on the Mechanist until we've already played a Barrels. They did not get punished. Here's the Mountain. I guess they got punished a tiny bit. They didn't have a land till turn 4. Now they're playing the 3rd land. Treetop Freedom Fighters. Scary, but also a snap trade. Get out of my face. I just need to survive, and then I'll have really good late game with cards like Hama. Hakoda's a nice one too, but I'm going to get the Mechanist going. This also puts our barrels out on the board for if we hit Azula. Filter blue mana into black mana. Boom, we bash the Mechanist. At least we drew our extra card off of it with that clue token. How does Hama work? We can waterbend the card. So we can Boomy Bash them back here and kill the 2/2. If I want to cast Hama and then tap these 3 artifacts on my 1 creature, that would work. We're really good at drawing our 3 white sources. Maybe I should drop down to only the air temples? No, I have to run the 1 plains to be able to search it off of the Aang's Journey. Man, it's just kind of weird and rough draws. Codices a Messenger Hawk will be the draw next turn. Nice. I'm not going to Hama here because we really don't need to like Boomy Bash a 2/2. War Balloon. They can put a bunch of fire counters on that to just make it a 4/3 flyer. Until then, they have to keep crewing it. It is summoning 6, so I guess they really, really wanted to scry here. This is kind of a weird crew. I guess they really wanted to scry. Find Messenger Hawk. There's a land on top. It's another black source though, so it's a solid land. Wow, that Compassionate Healer's done a lot of life gain for them. Just hit them for 4 and they're back to 20. Curious farm animals could blow up our barrels if they want. Stop our mana fixing, but we've drawn the right colors now that we don't need it anymore. Crew again. Scry again. Scry to the top. Down to 11. They are going to blow up the barrels, sure. Another land on top. Yikes. Maybe a little awkward, but I don't mind cracking 2 clues during their turn. They're back to 24 because sacrificing the farm animals also gained them another 3 life. Alright, they have made the War Balloon permanently a creature, which means I can use the Hama now to Boomy Bash it away. Gonna be some kind of trick here. Hopefully it's not one of those double combat tricks, but we'll see. I guess if it is, I can just sack Hakoda and Messenger Hawk will live. That's fine. We've drawn 2 cards, so Messenger Hawk's big enough to kill the balloon, and then we use the Hakoda to make sure Messenger Hawk lives, since Hakoda's gonna die anyway. Well, it's a trade here. I think I'd rather just take both these trades than keep Messenger Hawk. They're down to a 1/1. I am Not playing a Hama against a 1/1. Start using the air temple. I probably might as well just used it main phase, but then I'd be tapped out of sold out if something really bad happens. Yeah, I think it's probably right to hold up the sold out here and then use it in their end step. Kyoshu Warriors hits the board. It's a 3/3 and a 1/1. Not a great target for sold out, because it's one of those go wide kind of threats that gives them multiple different creatures instead of one big one. Let's go Abandoned Air Temple. Plop a land down. Kind of on the defensive now against the 3/3. I mean, now's an okay opportunity to just cash in the Boomy Bash, since I have a backup removal spell. Earth Kingdom Jailer. Well, there's our sold out target. Oh, it's been a while since I played this set. This is the opposite of how they usually are. It exiles mana value 3 or greater, not 3 or less, so that only exiles the big stuff. Interesting. Well, then I'm not going to sold out. Okay, drawing a Ty Lee means not playing Hama. So I can play Ty Lee, stun somebody, and also get another counter on Ty Lee as well as everybody else on the board. Abandoned Air Temple just kind of doing its thing here, slowly taking control of this game. Excuse me. Appa. Give somebody flying. That's pretty bad. If I just stun whatever they give flying and permanently kill Appa with a sold out, I think that works fine by me. Can sold out on Appa and still have the mana to use Abandoned Air Temples. That'll be the play. Abandon attachments. They discard a card and draw 2. Discard a land. Compassionate Healer. Still have a path to redemption for something else they play. Yeah, I should probably start actually poking them and closing out this game. If they have instant speed removal, they could kill Hama in response before we get to cast a card from their graveyard. Like a Lightning Strike here. Well, I guess Lightning Strike wouldn't work. Can they change the target of that? Because it's target opponent. They're my only opponent. Yeah, they can't change the target of that. There's no other legal targets. Boomy Bash. A 3/3. They have 4 power out. I'm at 11. Sure. One chump, go to 5 life, pass the turn. Yep. Jump the healer into the sky. +2, that's 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. Do they also have Lightning Strike in hand? That would be an insane end to this event. The triple trick. Okay, they don't have the Lightning Strike in hand. Oh man, my life flashed before my eyes there. That would have been a rough one, but we are still in it. We are 1-1 heading into game number 3. All right, here we are on the draw for game 3. This could have the opposite problem of our first hand. We've got perfect mana to play anything thanks to the barrels. But if we draw lands, we could flood pretty easily. The Inspector does draw us 1 card whenever it dies. Taking a bit of a risk here, but we'll see how it pans out for us. Accumulate Wisdom's a really good first draw here. It makes sure that we hit the best non-land card out of our top 3. Waterbending Lesson's another beautiful draw. All right, that went about as well as possible, I think. We need 3 lessons engraved. That's going to be pretty hard to get off of just casting 1 waterbending lesson. I think I'm just going to accumulate in their end step here rather than trying to wait for it to be a draw 3. There's a Porcupine from our opponent. Oh, right. Well, there is one of these that is far above the others. We'll draw an Azula. Find a Lost Days. I don't mind chump draw a card here. Wartime Protesters. No, I really don't mind chump draw a card. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No ways to affect the board here for 4 mana. Sketchy. Means I'm taking 6 next turn minimum. There's a Watery Grass, but it's too late. There's Azula on the hunt. So Azula exiles one of their cards even if they kill the Azula. I could Watery Grasp the Protesters, excuse me, and have a chump blocking Messenger Hawk. I think I'm far enough behind I have to kill a creature plus have a blocker up. But then they just need like the 1 removal spell to kill Azula here to kind of kill me. Yep. Oh wow, I did that wrong. Because I was so focused on casting Lost Days instead of Barrels. I should have Watery Grasp Azula and then Barrels the Protesters. My thinking there was that like Watery Grasp can shuffle it in forever, and I really need that ability to be gone. Which makes sense, but like Barrels can kill it forever. Should have just Grasped Azula and then Barrels the Protesters. Oh, good lord. Can they counter Lost Days here? Oh, they're going to Swamp Cycle before putting Azula on top. Cool. Ooh, Hama's not bad at all. Vex is 3 or more, so if I can sack 3 permanents in 1 turn. Then I can play Obsessive Pursuit and get a life gain swing. I've got 2 clue tokens, and it makes 1 when it enters, so I could sack 3 clues in 1 turn as the plan. Love it if they recast Azula, because then it's a little harder for them to have a way to kill this Messenger Hawk. Okay, so if they have a 1 and a black way to kill the Hawk, that's going to be bad. But if they don't, it's definitely Obsessive Pursuit here. Well, let me see. I need to kill Azula first, so I guess not. I guess it's Hama still right now. I don't want to crack a clue because I want to save 3 for Pursuit, but I do need cards too. Yeah, I'm going to crack a clue. Well, it's mana efficient. Another Watery Grasp. I think I'm on Hama Firebending Lesson. Wait, you can't play Kicker off of Waterbending? I should be able to play Kicker off of Waterbending, right? Rather than paying its mana cost versus its mana value. No, you can't Waterbend the Kicker? Oh, that's crazy. Well, then I have to Watery Grasp. Awkward. Awkward. It's good to know. Oh my god. Sure. 1 and 2 it is, then. If it's any consolation, we would have died no matter what to 7/7 trample haste. Yikes. Alright, well. Yeah, we just did not have instant speed removal for that thing. Rough stuff. All right, been a while since we've been hosed that hard in Arena Direct. Just the 1-2 run really quickly. But that last opponent just had a lot of really, really scary haste damage, some good rares. And our very first opponent, we just drew no mana. The kind of ways a lot of decks can lose. I think this deck was super reasonable. Like, it's a little bit low on early plays, but it has double Watery Grasp, Path to Redemption for early removal. It's got the Battle Fan as well, so it has 4 creatures that cost 2 or less. Like, it's not that bad there, and it has about as much interaction as the average deck in the sealed pool can accomplish, and some really good rares in here too. Just really did not pan out for us well in the gameplay with those draws. But again, the ways that we lost, I don't think were super indicative of the deck itself. That could have happened with the green-red build as well. We could have gotten stuck as badly as we did on mana in that first game. All right, sad way to start it off, but that means we get to play some more Avatar: The Last Airbender sealed. That just means there's going to be more of these videos coming up for you all. I know, as exciting as it is for me to hop in and immediately win the booster boxes like we did last time on our very first attempt, that does mean you get less Arena Direct videos, so maybe this is a good thing for the viewer base. There's more competitive Avatar: The Last Airbender sealed coming up. But unfortunate for us today, we are just down 8,000 gems, period. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.